Today I fucked up by eating a Carolina Reaper. Today I decided to eat a Carolina Reaper pepper for the first time. I've always been a big fan of spicy food and hot sauce. I like to consider myself somewhat a chili head and even go as far to make my own hot sauce. Last week I found some Carolina Reapers at my local grocery store, right next to the green peppers. I was shocked to see them just right there in the vegetables section. So naturally, I decided to buy about a half pound of them and use them to make some hot sauce. So tonight, having a freezer bag full of peppers, I decided it'd be good practice to sample the goods and figure out what I'm working with. I've eaten habaneros before, so I knew they'd be hot, but nothing could really compare me for the shitstorm that followed. After initially eating the pepper, there was no pain whatsoever. Blissfully ignorant of what would follow, I ate the entire pepper, chewed it up nice and good, swallowed it, and gave the cliche that's not that bad. Well, fucking hell, I was wrong. 20 to 30 seconds passed and the heat levels began to intensify. Started pacing back and forth, sweating, my mouth feeling like I had just tossed a hot coal covered in razor blades inside. My wife looking at me like I was possessed. The pain just kept growing and growing. I grabbed a paper towel and started scrubbing my tongue. Didn't help. Ate some bread. Nothing. The only temporary relief I got was from taking the sink sprayer and hosing out the inside of my mouth for the next 5 minutes. About 15 minutes had passed since initial blast off. The heat was starting to level off. I had reached altitude and my senses were starting to come back around. But my stomach then decided to turn on me. I could tell that it had to get that evil out of me, so I ran to the bathroom. To my disgrace, I puked. Never thought that would happen to me. But it did. And what makes it worse is that when I puked, I got to enjoy the burn again. During the second burn, I lost focus. My head must have been too close to the water and it splashed back up on my face and into my eye. So now I got a face full this flaming hot toilet water, leading to a third burn. My eye just quit burning after an hour and now I'm afraid to touch or do anything else. So I'm going to bed, but thought I'd share the experience. Too long didn't read. I ate a Carolina Reaper, got burned 3 times. But damn, it made me feel alive. 10/10 would recommend. Edit, 4th burn. LPT. If you want to get capsaicin oil out of your mouth, keep in mind it is an oil, so will resist water. If water will just help distribute it more evenly around your mouth. Alcohol. Alcohol is the best way, short of cutting the affected flesh out, to remove the hot from your mouth. Swish a good shot of vodka or whiskey around your mouth. Whether you spit or swallow I'll leave to you. But while it will initially feel like a mouthful of lava, it will significantly reduce the burn. Milk works well for lesser peppers. Safe to say a ghost pepper or Carolina Reaper will win the war against milk though. You may not be out of the woods yet, honestly. The 4th burn is brewing. So you didn't even get to the stomach aches and fire bladder? Edit, you got to the stomach aches. They don't get better. Then they become large intestine aches once they find nerves to activate again. Oh wow, at least you survived, as that chili can cause bleeding, swelling, and if you're asthmatic then well, you're probs doomed, but hope you recover later and with less pain. My brother ate a Naga Viper by accident when I was growing chilies. He picked the chilies himself, and took a big bite thinking it was a bird's eye chili. Nope, he regretted it a ton later. Can you please elaborate on what happened to him after eating it? You're lucky you puked, lol. I did one of those legendary man vs food spicy challenges and my throat started swelling at my lymph nodes as I thought my body was trying its hardest to get me to puke. They give you all the ice cream you want when you complete the challenge, so I held it down with a ton of plain vanilla. But I seriously considered just throwing it all up to get the bulk of it out of my system. That night was the worst night's sleep of my life as I felt it make its way through my system slowly, incinerating my intestines along the way. The next day, I paid dearly. Over and over and over. Just when my other end stopped burning from the last movement, it struck again. I retired from ultra spicy that day. I only go for a comfortable burn anymore, lol. Today I fucked up by appearing to be orchestrating a hospital bombing attack. Since midnight Monday I've been running a multiple-story hospital flood cleanup, and today went to capture our progress so far with a Matterport camera. Matterport, if you don't know, is a camera that uses UV light and some pretty cool tech to create navigable 3D images of buildings that can be measured, marked up, and shared with our clients and subcontractors. It's essentially what Google Street View is, except we use it inside buildings. It's really cool, and very pricey, so it's got a nice padded case and I get nervous still when I use it. The camera itself is about the size of a Keurig coffee maker, and sits atop a tripod. You set it, it rotates 360 degrees, aligns the new image with precious scans, and then you move it 6 to 8 feet to keep capturing the area. Sometimes if you move too far away it can't align properly, or if there aren't enough distinguishable elements from prior scans, or too much changes, lighting, people in the frames, open/closed doors, etc. The software kinda yells at you for an alignment error, and you try to correct discrepancies, or move it closer to the previous scan, then scan again. I was having problems scanning a hallway intersection, where our work continued past a door and into another corridor. Anticipating alignment errors, I knew I'd have to hold the door open so that doorway element would be consistent in all shots. But I also would have to be out of frame, which I usually do by either walking behind the camera as it rotates or just being outside of the room. Easy solution? Sandwich myself behind the door as I hold it open. 4 scans, 0 alignment errors. Perfect. 3 scans later I turn around to see 3 cops with hands on their holsters and 2 squirrely looking hospital security officers staring me down. Apparently they'd watched me on camera long enough to realize I wasn't a threat, but at that point it was beyond their control, because a nurse had already alerted her chain of command. And I bear her no ill will, cause she saw something suspicious and did the right thing. Here's what she saw: a masked man she didn't recognize, in a closed wing of the hospital, kept tinkering with some large black boxes, with a large rifle-looking thing, the tripod case, strapped across his back. Whenever she looked, he kept avoiding people and hiding behind a doorway, then escaped into another locked section. It was all straightened up quickly, thankfully, but holy smokes, that could have been worse. Too long didn't read. By my using a 3D camera and avoiding being in frame, a nurse thought was setting up a terrorist attack and brought cops down on me. Best story of the week. Till that there is Google Street View for buildings. Imagine if someone was playing CSGO in the room next door. The nurse sees a man tinkering with a strange object, then the bomb has been planted. Pro tip: wear a orange reflective vest and a white helmet, no one will think you're up to no good ever again. I had my company badge on and all, it was mostly the hiding behind the door thing that was the tipping point. Pro tip: 98% of nurses obtain sustenance from common items such as food and drink. 2% of nurses obtain sustenance by sending false flags up the chain of command to crush the souls and lives of those around them. I'm married to a nurse, and have worked in enough hospitals to know that 2% is vastly low. Today I fucked up by trying to test if my superpowers had suddenly awoken. Now I'm 35. I've got 2 kids, and another on the way. On most days, I do an excellent job of pretending to be a grown-up. I admit I still occasionally try to move things with my mind or practice my Kamehameha in the shower. Essentially stuff that I can do in private without the judging eyes of my peers trying to figure out what level of autism they can diagnose me with. Last night there's a terrific thunderstorm going on. Kind where thunderclaps shake the glass in your house and the kids occasionally run into the hallway in fear. Fantastic stuff. So I step out onto my porch and leave the front door open with the glass door shut behind me. I'm watching the lightning dance across the sky. Most of the time we remove ourselves from actually watching these storms, but if you actually go outside and pay attention, you can understand how people used to think it was God's wrecking shit. I think to myself, all this energy bouncing around the atmosphere could totally activate my dormant superpowers. It would be stupid of me not to check. So before I go back inside, I hold my arm out up, extend my fingers out, and try to make it lightning again. I totally nailed the pose because I'm flexing as hard as I can and I stuck my arm out very dramatically. In my head I looked very cool. Pause, no luck, no lightning. Time to go back inside. I turn around to go back inside and I see my pregnant wife on the other side of the glass door watching me, knowing exactly what my nerdy ass was trying to do. The cackling started immediately. She continues laughing at me when the look on my face turns to shame. Leaning against the wall laughing at me. Kind of laughing that hurts you soul because there's no justification against it. She follows me through the house, laughing at me, promising me that she's going to tell everyone what a complete nerd I am. Too long didn't read. While watching a thunderstorm outside, I tried to make it lightning again with a really dramatic pose. Didn't know my wife was watching me. She proceeds to make fun of me the rest of the night. That is adorable. Don't be embarrassed, laugh along buddy. Just imagine how impressed she would be if the lightning came at that exact moment. Hey, she already knows you are a nerd but you have 2 kids and 1 on the way. She's a keeper. That's what I told her. I said you're laughing, but you'd be begging for another kid after this one if you thought I could control lightning. Props for trying, Lamau. In all seriousness, you guys sound like a really adorable couple. She's terribly cute but also incredibly mean. The ratio of cute to mean is about equal. This was 8 to 11-year-old me. Are the good old days. It was 8 to 11-year-old me too. Also 12 to 35-year-old me. Stressed face. Imagine if you did make it lightning. That tilde tramp tilde lovely woman wouldn't be laughing.